Hey guys, it's Old Man Wags here with Atlantic Pressure Washers showing you our latest install. What we've done this week is we were asked to put as much stuff in the bed of a pickup truck as possible. However, what makes this unique is some of the key features and why we chose to do things the way that we did. Let's just start with the very foundation. Towards the front of our vehicle, we have a 200-gallon water tank. You'll notice that there's three very simple plumbing ports on the bottom of it. We have one that is supplying our pressure washer. We've got one that acts as a drain line coming out to the back of the truck. We've even got one that is supplying our 7-gallon a minute 12-volt pump, which we'll get to and talk about its priorities here in a few moments. The reason that we put some emphasis on this is that 200-gallon water tank is going to be the heart and soul of this customer's needs. They've actually taken this from another level of not only a pressure washing van and vehicle to a window cleaning rig. So what we had to do is find a way to accommodate both and really make the best use of everything that they have and the space that's provided. With a pickup truck like this, we did have a much larger payload than on a smaller vehicle, so that definitely made things easier. However, some of the tricky parts are still the space and accommodation of everything that was asked to go into this. For example, we needed a pipe so that we can hold all of the water-fed poles. In addition to that, we needed a home for our surface cleaner. In addition to that, we needed an actual ladder rack that can hold our smaller pieces. In addition to that, we needed the other half of our ladder rack to hold a 32-foot extension ladder. Why? Because these were our customers' needs. The entire aspect of this actually had to be completely customized and tailored to this specific customer. That's one of the key parts of really going with a custom install, is making sure that this suits your needs as perfectly as possible. Let's talk about what we actually have going on as far as power units go. Right behind me, we have a GX690 powering a gear reduction driven TSF 2021 pump. That pump is going to get us 8 gallons a minute at 3,500 PSI. In this customer's scenario, his goal was to be able to do everything from the gutters down to the foundation and out the driveway as quickly and efficiently as possible. Well, why is that? One of the needs was to make sure that the guy that's washing the house doesn't ever have to basically be waiting for anything, or the guy that's following him doing the window cleaning doesn't have to be waiting for the pressure washer guy to finish up his specific task. So the goal was to lay soap down as quickly as possible, shoot as high as possible, and minimize the amount of ladder use as quickly and efficiently as possible. That's where our 8 gallon a minute comes in. With the flow accommodation that we were able to pack into this vehicle, we were able to clean at least 35 feet from the ground, no questions asked, all day long, no problems whatsoever. On a good day, you could even get up to 45 feet if the conditions are right. That's rather rare in our area, but that is a possibility with an 8 gallon a minute machine. The other tools that we have sitting here, we have on our side the soap injection system. What we decided to do is take a downstream injector and basically take it to the next level. Not only did we install a downstream injection bypass system, but we also installed a remote control valve so that we can turn the soap on and off from wherever you are around the house. All right. The range that we have on this FlowPro system is actually going to accommodate at least 800 feet around whatever property we're on. We tested that by walking around our entire business suite, walking around the business suite that's to the side of us, and then walking to the neighboring commercial development just to see what kind of range we have with that sucker. Believe it or not, we had stellar range. We're going to reach way further than we ever need to in a practical scenario for what's going on inside this vehicle. What this means is the guy that's working on the house washing aspect of their clientele is basically going to be able to work uninterrupted and really without any assistance or help. No one's going to be running back to the vehicle to turn the soap on, turn the soap off. The benefits of having the injector bypass loop, the idea that's going to be turned on and off using that solenoid, is that instead of just losing flow like you would with a standard inline injector by having that in line and just shutting that on and off, the injector bypass loop is going to bypass out of where the soap injection is coming from and allow the full flow of the pressure washer, that 8 gallons a minute, to deliver to the nozzle on the rinse side. This basically means that you're getting full flow rinse whenever you're in the off position as far as soap constraint goes. Did I lose you? Was that way too complicated?
Traditionally, the water moves one direction through a downstream injector. While there's no issue with that, it does actually restrict everything just because of the orifice size internally on the injector itself. What a downstream injector bypass loop allows you to do is actuate a valve either manually or electronically, so that water is forced to go through the injector when you want soap, or you can open the valve and water can go around the loop, bypass that injector, allowing you to optimize the full flow of your machine. What this does, in a sense, is basically removes that restriction. It takes the path of least resistance when the water flow is moving around that loop, and you get full flow or full rinse power. One of the biggest benefits to this is when you're using a higher flow machine, we're just use 8 gallons a minute as an example. A standard inline injector is going to restrict that down to a 6-gallon a minute machine. By opening it up to full 8 gallons a minute, you will not only rinse faster, but you will be able to rinse higher, so making this a very efficient tool when you get into higher flow equipment.
Let's talk about some of the other features of the pressure washer that we've helped install. We have a J-rod that easily accommodates our 8 gallon a minute. We have a surface cleaner that easily accommodates 8 gallons a minute. In addition to that, we have an X-Jet that is paired with a number 25 orifice, which again easily accommodates that 8 gallons a minute. Everything about this setup is designed to basically work with the pressure washer, making the operator as efficient as possible. In an ideal scenario, that person, the pressure washer operator, is not going to need any of the ladders that we have up here. What they're going to be doing is basically washing everything from the ground level and just take it from there, doing everything that they can all around the property. The next aspect of this, we're going to talk about the window cleaning portion. On the window cleaning side, we've got that 7 gallon a minute pump that we talked about. It's pulling from our 200 gallon tank. It's pushing through our reverse osmosis system. This is an RODI with a carbon canister built in, and basically that means that you're going to get super clean, purified water throughout the entire system component. One of the trickier aspects of this, though, is that the customer needed to be able to remove this. So unlike some of the larger ones that we would just bolt in place or basically hide away or tuck away on the railings, we needed a very easy way of being able to remove this and going back and forth. That's where that ratchet strap comes in. We did secure this just with D-rings. It's held in place pretty well. The plumbing even disconnects pretty straightforward if the customer needs to remove it, walk around the property, and tote it where they need to go. In line with that, we chose to make that specific reel for the RODI system not actually what's considered a live reel, meaning that there's nothing hooked up to that swivel that's sitting on the hose reel itself. Instead, the customer has supplied us with the hose that is basically going to attach to this so that they can remove whatever length hose they need, hook it up to the RODI system, and then have filtered water at that station. Additionally, we were then asked to be able to split the line so that the customer can use 2 window cleaning poles at a time. What that means is that the guy that just finished pressure washing is now able to catch up to the guy that's doing the window cleaning, and once again, they can work around that entire property as efficiently as possible. The goal for this truck was to fit all this in a nice little pocket, make it clean, make it professional looking, and make it store everything. The last part of this is our third hose reel that's over there on the side. We do have basically the ability to walk 125 feet away from the building or the vehicle, hook up to a garden hose, and fill that water tank, because again, that's the heart and control of this entire unit. Without water, you can't do the window cleaning aspect, nor can you do the pressure washing aspect. The last and final part of this is really just how we chose to run all the electrical control. Our customer didn't want to have to rely on a 115 volt booster pump. Instead, we opted to rely on a 12 volt pump. What that means, and in this context, we were able to take our Honda GX 690 with a properly sized rectifier, run that to a 12 volt battery, take another 12 volt battery, link it to that to basically make a giant 12 volt battery storage cell. That's then going to run up to our electrical control box, which it ties into several breakers of which control our electric hose reels, our 12 volt electric pump, as well as our FlowPro system for turning on the soap injection. All right. And if that wasn't complicated enough, it all had to be watertight. It all had to be to a degree that basically this can withstand the conditions that we live in. Because here where we are, or specifically where this customer is, there's a lot more abuse out in the wear and tear elements that we have down here than maybe you have in some of the southern territories where some of our customers are washing. If you really pay attention to some of these photos that we're zooming in on, you'll see that this actually had to be built in layers, and a lot of stuff had to go on, come off, go on, come off. Part of that was just to accommodate everything as it goes around. Additionally, it was really difficult to work on the plumbing and the electrical in here if all aspects of this were installed. However, the entire ladder rack itself braces where these hose reels are. So again, everything had to kind of go on in pieces. A lot of things had to go on multiple times, and it just took the complication factor up a whole nother level. We really like what our customer asked us to do. When we get installs like this or special requests like this, they can be a little challenging to figure out how everything's going to sit there. It really is going to max out whatever Tetris skills you bring to the table as far as the install tech goes. But in this particular case, I really think that we nailed it. Our customer is absolutely thrilled. And we'd love to hear your personal feedbacks in the comments section below. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Atlantic Pressure Washers. Don't forget to turn the water on.